I kept threatening to pass my hat, so I'm going to pass the key things, and there aren't too many, of what you do as far as a successful practice, because we want lots of people out there practicing. I'm one of the few people that's been constantly auditing all these years, 36 years, earned a living on it, full time. I don't do anything else. I don't do other things, real estate or whatever. Not that that's bad. It's a good thing to do. And it's a full-time activity for me. So first thing I'm going to tell you that it's a lifestyle. Even when I was a mission holder, Hubbard would write these mission advice letters for mission holders back in the 70s. You guys ever seen those mission advice letters? Different in HCOB, different in policy. It's for us mission holders, you know. No, it was just black on white. And you could probably still find them somewhere. I still have some of them. And they were like key things. And so I'm going to share those things with you. The first thing he advised is to get trained, thoroughly trained. Train as much as you can before you go out there and set up shop somewhere. And he reminded us that the auditing, training somebody, is a third dynamic activity. See, it's not just you and that fella, because it takes a lot more than that to run a business. As anybody here who ever ran a business knows. Those of you who haven't, you'll soon know. Okay, and the ones that were most successful in the mission network or field auditors were the ones that trained under some successful business themselves. I was trained under somebody who was successful themselves. See? Or trained under the best orgs, or the best auditor, you see, or the best whatever they can find. You know, so they would go to Flag, or they heard that the Alley org had a real good system going at the time. They would go train there, see, or they would train under somebody, preferably Hubbard or whatever, that was trained really well. So just like if you were going to learn to do any sort of electrician or any sort of practice, you want to train under the best. See. So find the best guy you can. Some people just take things out of the net, the internet, and they think they can do it, and then go out and do it. And that's no way to get trained. I know people have done that. I know people have taken OT3 out of the internet and try to get people through it. And they flubby-dub their way through, and they wind up on my plate. See? Find somebody who's done it. Find somebody who really knows how to do it if you're going to do it. Otherwise, you just, what do you call it, a dilettante? You're just fooling yourself. You won't be in business long because you'll create overts. Try to get internships under others. Everything I got trained, after I left the church in 1990, I went and found somebody who did that particular rundown, who was already classified, like Class 7, you know, who knew how to do power processing. I found her up in Northern California. Someone who did not, who were trained under the LRH orgs. I had them train me, paid them good money, I think $6,000 or something like that. Get what you pay for. You know, I found the guy who was on the head CS and trainer on the flagship on OT8. Paid him $6,000 and 2-3 weeks of training. What does this do? This you operate from a viewpoint of confidence, which transfers when you got that PC coming in. You know what you've done. You know what you can do. Also, the main thing is that you have to achieve that level yourself. It takes clear to clear somebody. If you have not achieved that level, your counterintention is going to transfer over to the PC, and you're not going to get him through. Does that seem real? That datum's in the Clearing Course Congress. All right. Then I would suggest you get legal. because that's to stop you from, you wind up auditing out of the closet. To audit or to do this, the psychiatrist, I talked to psychiatrists because they did consult, and we were renting a room to a psychologist out of our office building. And I said to her, and I said, she would do the examination. She was the examination board person. And I said, what I'm doing, is that illegal? She goes, no, you're doing, because I told her what I was doing, past life regressions, et cetera, et cetera. She says, no, you're doing metaphysical things. We don't care what you do. Government doesn't care what you do. So I researched it further. In Nevada, like in California, you do have to have a minister or a master's in counseling to counsel to be legal. Then I researched it a little further, and I found that if you became a hypnotherapist, you could not only get insurance for what you're doing, you could also counsel people on metaphysical level. And that's what we're doing. You follow? So you got to get legal because you're going to it's going to hold you back. And also, those who don't want you to audit will blow the whistle on you. Believe me, I've been investigated up and down by the Church of Scientology, and haven't found anything to get me on. Because we touched upon all these things. The next thing is get your own life together. Be a good example. If you're living out of your car, how are you going to counsel anybody?
Isn't that have auditor will travel?
Yeah, have auditor will travel. You better have a good base, and you better have a nice car. What's that datum? The people know you by your mest.
Nice motorhome.
Pardon?
Nice motorhome.
Yeah, or a nice motorhome. I'm going to get me one of those. So get your own. Be a good example. Wear nice clothes. You can't wear clothes with shoes with holes in them. You can't. It's like, give me a break. You can't overdress. You didn't see me with a tuxedo this weekend. It'd be overdressing.
I thought you were overdressing. Yeah, you're the only one with a tie on.
That's true. That's true. But the icon of a counselor is professionalism. Tie, little sweater. See? Wore the proper clothes for the convention. If you came to see me, I might have a little sweater, but a nice clean shirt. New shirt. My wife reminds me. That student. Which is good. The next thing is, if you have an office, get it outside your house. Even if it's in your backyard, get it away from your home. I'm just giving you successful tips. Okay? I tell you, there was an old timer who was trained by Hubbard once told me, Ray, if you can audit, and I was 24 years old at the time. I became a class 4. I was 24 and OT4. And he said, if you can audit, you'll never starve. Well, I learned how to audit, and I never have starved. A little bit too fat, actually. Yeah, had plenty of cars. I'm on my 5th home. Just bought a new home. You can have all the things, the American dream, if you audit. But you're not going to get super rich. I'll give you a wrong idea. Anybody in the humanities makes an average pay, maybe a little higher, if you're good. Humanities mean teacher, nurse, counselor. That's the humanities. That's doing things for humanity. Not for yourself, but for the good of the most people. And so you're going to do well, and you should.